The Monroe Central Seminoles. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Belmont Technical College for your brighter millennium.
You couldn't have asked for better weather here in Woodsfield, Ohio. Tonight, Magnolia invades Monroe Central, and really you have two teams on opposite ends of the spectrum when you're talking experience. Magnolia coming off a 500 season, they return a lot of people. Monroe Central coming off a playoff season, basically new faces.
Well, Magnolia, with all those veterans, most of them gaining a lot of experience defensively, but they have several kids back on the offense. They'll have a new quarterback and new runners, but they have a lot of experience. When Monroe Central running a couple of kids back, they had 14 seniors last year. So, as you say, completely opposite teams, and anything could happen.
Magnolia has a lot of guys back, but only, as Jeff alluded to, 5 seniors, so they're still young. Now, usually at this time, we like to tell you about stars of both teams, but really there are no stars yet. A lot of young guys out here trying to make names for themselves, and that's what's making this game so interesting. We did talk to the two coaches, though, Mark Batten of Magnolia, Jay Sarcosta of Woodsfield, Monroe Central, and both guys have different ways of looking at this opening game, don't they?
Well, Coach Batten said that he really likes this as an opener. It kind of sets the stage for the whole season. And if you're successful, it sets the stage for really a real nice year. Well, Coach Sarcosta, he said that he would rather start against a weaker opponent, and I think that's because of the number of sophomores that he has.
Okay, opening kickoff right around the corner. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Woodsfield. Monroe Central getting ready to take the field. Jay Sarcosta, head coach of the Seminoles, 29 years here guiding this team. 210 wins, 81 losses, 5 ties, 11 OVAC championships, 14 Pioneer Valley Conference championships. Jeff, it really doesn't get much better than that. I mean, there's not much more that Jay can accomplish here.
Well, the fans out in this area really have gotten spoiled. This is the first time in several years that there really has been a rebuilding year. I know only 10 losses over the last 10 years of regular season games. That's just 1 loss per season. So that success spoils people, but this is a rebuilding year for the Seminoles, but yet some real good young players.
You know, I read in one of the previews, I believe it was the Time Leader, they asked Jay actually was saying that people around town, around Woodsfield, have been asking him, Jay, what's it look like? And Jay says, well, we lost 14 seniors, we only have 2 returning starters, and everybody looks at him and goes, so what do you think, 8-2?
Right.
Which feeds on exactly what you're talking about.
That's just the thing, you know, they're spoiled, they're used to that 8-2, but you know, will it be? You know, we'll find out in the next few minutes what the prospects will be.
Adam Jones going to kick it off for Monroe Central, and the high school football season, 2000 style, is underway. Magnolia takes it at the 20, going straight up the field, and the Blue Eagles will have good field position starting at their own 35-yard line.
Well, anytime you can return that kickoff out and be in the neighborhood of the 30 to 35-yard line, I think you'll be quite satisfied with the field position you get. And a lot of times when the ball is bobbled like that, sometimes that throws that coverage team off, and that's when a big play happens.
Jason Baxter on the return for the Blue Eagles. Jason 6'3", 175. He's a senior. By far and away, according to Coach Mark Batten, the best athlete on the Magnolia football team. He was also a starter on their state championship basketball team. First down and 10 from the 36. Under center for Magnolia is Craig Mason, 180-pound quarterback. Long count. Right up the middle go the Blue Eagles. On the carry for Magnolia, number 3, Jeremy Cecil, a 5'9", 180-pound senior. Cecil had 224 yards in 1999, and they're expecting a lot out of him in 2000.
Well, he's their most experienced ball carrier, and look for him to get some touches real early on. And Magnolia, may try to get some running plays, even though Coach Batten did say he's not against putting the ball up early.
Gain of 4, second down 6. I formation. Mason, give inside again, and it's a big gainer, good enough for a first down out to midfield. Cecil once again, so he has 2 carries, 14 yards. He keeps up that 7-yard per carry average. He's going to have a good night.
I think it's important in a game, any football game, but especially the season opener, you want to establish something early, and you'd like to get a nice drive together, even if you don't get points on the board. That just is good for the confidence. You have a new quarterback and a couple of running backs that's not used to carrying it. That's important offensively to get off to a good start.
2 in the backfield. See if Mason puts it up for the first time tonight. Nope, they're going to keep it on the ground, and there's not much doing there. Monroe Central's defensive line stopping it up that time, led by big number 70, Randall Seifert, 5'10", 205. Randall's a junior. Mark Batten in his second year guiding Magnolia, longtime assistant for Dave Caesar, who coached at Magnolia for, I believe, 106 years or somewhere around there. Batten last year in his rookie season went 5-5. They started off slow, and then they finished strong by winning 3 games, going 5-5. He only had 2 starters back in his first year, and this year, 8 veterans on both sides of the ball. They only have 6 seniors, so they're still young. But I talked to him before the game, and he said, it's a lot easier for him as a coach this year, coming in with some guys who have seen playing time, and he knows a little bit about what they can do, namely that guy right there, Mr. Cecil.
Well, it's just an advantage to have kids that are used to being on the field under the Friday night lights, so to speak, regardless of the position they played and how they contributed a year ago. Just being on the field in front of a crowd is a big advantage.
Blue Eagles continue to churn out some yards on the ground. 3rd down and 1 from the Monroe Central 42. Mason in the shotgun. Motion for the fullback. High snap. Mason takes it. He's in trouble. And Mason's not going to pick up the first down. He fumbles the football. Is it a turnover? We have to wait for the official. I believe they're rolling him down. Magnolia saying he's down. Monroe Central saying they wanted a fumble, and Jason Costa out on the field and not happy.
Well, that was a run play, I believe, all the way. Then spread the defense out, and they was going to run a little quarterback draw there out of that shotgun. But just, the high snap is going to be the key. As you can see there, good pursuit, and the ball come loose, and that's a close call. But it will, excuse me, Dave, but it will be a loss of a couple yards, which is going to mean 4th down and about 3. So Magnolia, after being in a good situation, that mistake is going to cause them to kick the ball away.
Sam Miller on the tackle, just to let you know how young this team is. Miller's a freshman. Magnolia to punt. They had a 3rd down and 1. They could not convert. Good punt. Monroe Central takes it at the 15, and that's where they're going to stay. Adam Conrad on the return. He's only a sophomore.
A nice coverage also. It wasn't a real pretty kick, but it was very effective. And anytime you can get the other team to start out during the 15-yard line, this puts Magnolia's defense in good shape. And let's say defensively is where they should really be strong early in the year.
Jason Costa likes to run the football. That's what they're going to do here. He told us before the game that they're going to run. Now, if Magnolia loads everybody up on the line to stop that run, then he's going to be forced to throw. And he has a sophomore quarterback, Michael Joris. He had a junior quarterback, Ryan Burkhart, who injured his foot. He'll be out for the season. Joris takes over. I formation. Jones the tailback, mixed up in the backfield. Joris hangs on to it, almost fumbled away at the 15-yard line.
Well, there's an example right there of a player that is going to be key for Magnolia. That's number 41, John Smith.
Take a look at the Seminole offense. Joris at the quarterback position. Stevens, Cease, Jones, Brown, Conrad, and Kilburn. Up front, Kinney, Fronapple, Seifert, Smithberger, Schumacher, and Kyer. We'll take a look at the Magnolia defense in a second. 2nd down, 14. Ball at the 11. Inside handoff to Jones, and he's not going to get a whole lot. Magnolia's defense all over him, led by Josh Natale, a 6'1", 180-pound sophomore.
This is going to bring up 3rd down and long, and it's not exactly the situation deep in your own territory that Coach Acosta wanted to put his sophomore quarterback in on the opening series.
Jones is a load. He's 5'10", 180, and he's going to have to carry the load for that man right there, Jay Circosta, sporting the Oakleys. Fashionable statement here by Coach.
We could use a pair of those right about now.
Fashion is big in Woodsfield, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
3rd down, 10. Throwing situation, and instead they run it, which should not surprise me out of Circosta. Jones on the carry. He bubbles it away. We got to look Magnolia. First turnover of the game, and the Blue Eagles in business with 7:09 to go first quarter.
We're trying to cross things up with running of a sweep wide to the right, and wasn't not really developing real well, and the ball came loose. Magnolia on it. That's great field position for Magnolia. And maybe the replay will give us a chance to see who did cover the football for Magnolia.
You see Jones trying to spread it. Somebody came from the backside, popped it loose. I think it was number 41, John Smith, who came in from the backside and kind of gave it a kidney punch.
It looked like maybe number 32, A.J. Thomas, made the recovery.
Either way, Magnolia with a chance to do some damage. 1st and 10 at the Seminoles 19. Mason, handoff inside. They'll get 4, maybe 5.
Well, turnovers, as both coaches mentioned when we talked to them prior to the game, would be a key, and especially the position on the field. And for Monroe Central, I think a turnover deep in their own territory is just Coach Lacosta's worst nightmare.
Mason up at the line of scrimmage. Split in the backfield. Cecil gets the carry. Big hole initially. And Cecil real close to a first down. As a matter of fact, some Blue Eagle players saying he did indeed get it. And now the official signaling first down.
Well, Cecil's been the workhorse in the early going and had positive yardage every time.
He's another 180-pounders. Mason 180. Got some nice size here, both teams, as far as the skill positions go. And, you know, talking to both coaches before the game, specifically Batten, he said, you know, whichever team comes out and establishes itself first really gets a lot of momentum because this is a big game. This is usually a game teams like to play in the 8th or 9th week, not right off the bat. But I know you remember a couple years ago when Monroe Central, I believe, hurt them with a couple quick plays right off the bat.
Well, both teams over the years have used the big play early in the game. Been a couple times your late scores. You know, 2 years ago, Magnolia came in here with a quality club and won 21-0. That's a team that went clear to the state semifinals in West Virginia before being stopped.
2nd down and 9 from the 9. Mason going to throw it. Quick slant. Incomplete. Looked like it was complete initially, and that would have been very close to a touchdown. But the ball was not hung on to. Nice defensive play that time. Jeremy Kinney out there, big number 77.
I think the corner on that side, number 44, Gabe Gordon, was able to come in and make a play. And he's just a freshman and getting a start at defensive back.
They were looking for Baxter. In 99, he had 15 catches, over 200 yards. He's 6'3", 185. He is their threat. Beautiful night for football. Big crowd on hand. Too deep on the sidelines. 3rd down, 9 from the 9. Collins fakes the handoff, going corner, and something didn't mesh. Baxter went inside. I think Baxter zigged, and Mason was hoping he would zag.
And just miscommunication. So that's going to bring up 4th down and goal from the 9. And this is going to bring on a weapon that Coach Batten has that he really did not have at his disposal last year, and that's a kicker. Number 1, Aaron Long, is going to try a field goal from 24 yards out. Long, I believe, is an all-state soccer player last year, so he brings a new dimension to this Magnolia offense.
Well, I know the Monroe Central coaches were watching him before the game, and this should be very easy for Aaron Long. Snaps down, it's good. Kick is bad. I jinxed him. I said it should be easy. You know, in the pregame, he was kicking 20-yarders with ease right through the middle.
But this is the first year he's been out for football. You know, that's completely different. His first varsity kick.
5:23 left to go first quarter for Monroe Central. 0-0 game. We'll be right back after this. Sophomore juggled it at first, tucked it in. Chains will move for the Seminoles.
Well, there's a sophomore to a sophomore, so getting that play under their belt here midway through the first quarter, you know, has to relax both those young men, Joris to Conrad.
Monroe Central and Magnolia since 96 have split this series. Seminoles won 15-12 in 96. 97, Magnolia wins 19-18. Then in 98, Magnolia went undefeated, lost to Weir in the playoffs, the eventual state champion. They blanked the Noles 21-0. And last year, Monroe Central got revenge, beating Magnolia 26-7.
There's a missed assignment on the offensive line, and there's number 41, Smith, who's the leading returning tackler for the Blue Eagles in the backfield. That's going to result in about a 4-yard loss for Adam Jones.
I feel like a TV dinner in a microwave. This sun is baking us up here. It's like right on us.
Well, about the week 9, week 10 of the football
we'll be
season.
Freezing, yeah, you know, either way you go, you're going to be complaining, I guess. 2nd down, 14 from the 30. 4:25 to go first quarter of a scoreless game. Joris going to put it up. Looking downfield, he's sacked. He fumbles the football. Monroe Central recovers. He was looking outside again. Adam Conrad was streaking down the near sideline, and it would have been interesting if he could have gotten that football off.
I think number 66, Daniel Smithberger was able to get on that loose football. It's going to result in a loss of a yard, but it's going to maintain possession for Monroe Central. That's going to be a third and about 15 yards to go.
Hard count by Joris. Here comes the outside blitz. He gets hammered again. It's picked off. This is going to be a touchdown for Magnolia. What a play defensively. Tucking it in is John Smith. He runs it in for the touchdown. The blitz came from the outside, and Joris did not have a prayer.
Good pressure from the backside, and the ball popped up in the air, and Smith, who's been in on a lot of plays in the early going, ball fell right in his hands, and it was an easy track to the end zone.
That outside blitz was right there, and Joris did not see it coming. Anytime it comes from that blind side, definitely dangerous, and that ball just flipped right up into the air perfectly to Smith, who takes it in for the score with 3:28 to go, first quarter. So Aaron Long going to come on, try to make this a 7-point lead.
Now that he has that first attempt out of his system on that field goal, maybe this will be a little more natural to him.
Craig Mason on the hold for Magnolia. Everything looks good, and this one's low again.
And we have a whistle before the snap. That's going to be delay a game. So it's going to give him a second chance because that attempt will not count.
You know, it almost looks like Long is kicking the top of the football. He's getting no elevation on it whatsoever. I mean, that's a gimme. An extra point is a gimme. He was nailing them in the practice, in the pregame. Of course, when the game hits, it's a little different. Your nerves shoot up in there, but he's got to kick the bottom half of that football. He's kicking the top, even the middle. Here we go again.
Nowhere near as many people watching him during pregame.
There he goes. He got that one up, and that one would have been good from about 35. 3:28 in the first quarter. Magnolia up 7-0. Thanks to their defense. What a play it was. The outside rush gets the sack as Joris is trying to throw the football, and it was taken into the end zone by Smith. Caught it on the fly. Big plays determine games, especially early. Sets a tone.
And Monroe Central has had the ball twice and has turned the ball over twice. And you can't continue to do that and not expect to get yourself in a hole. So now down 7-0, they're going to need to come out and try to put a couple plays together for some positive yardage.
Well, the thing is, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves either, but, Jay Circosta does not especially like to throw the football. And he has a young quarterback in there, a young team. He gets behind too much, he's going to have to start tossing it. So anytime you start doing something you don't really like to do, the odds of it working out for you are not real good. So his offense definitely needs to generate something here early, especially that running game.
Especially at this point in the season, I'm sure they have not spent a lot of time working on the passing game. You're trying to find people to fill the positions, so I'm sure the running game has dominated the early practices. And as you say, you can't panic. You're still in the first quarter, but you cannot get behind by a couple touchdowns.
Eric Brown, Adam Conrad, you were looking at right there, getting ready to receive the kickoff. Bill Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard. Magnolia on top, 7-0. Hope this advertisement, this scoreboard helps you sell some cars there, Bill. Aaron Long getting ready to boot it off. He got the underside of that one. It's a good kick. Take it at the 25. 30. 34, looks like the 36 before Eric Brown is knocked out of bounds.
Number 34 on coverage. Looks like Joe Blatt on special teams play, forcing the play out of bounds. But, decent field percentage here, position here from Monroe Central. They're going to be at the 37-yard line, and much better position than what they've had so far as their first two drives started at their own 15 and their own 20.
Greg Shoemaker there talking to his quarterback. Trying to get the offense going, as Jeff told you. 2 opportunities offensively, 2 fumbles. Third time is supposed to be a charm. Michael Joris, the quarterback under center, I formation. Quick hitter to the fullback up the middle. Trying to get to the outside, but Cecil wraps up T.J. Stevens immediately.
Well, Cecil not only been active offensively, he's also going to be very active in there on the defensive side of the ball also, manning one of those inside positions. And, that's where, as we said earlier, Magnolia, very experienced. They have a lot of kids that got some time on defense last year. and the defense may carry them, and the defense has already scored tonight.
Second down, 9 from the 38. Same formation. And we're going to get some laundry on the field.
And what that may be is someone either lining up in the neutral zone, or they may have put their hand down and then picked it up. I really didn't see, but it's going to cost Monroe Central 5 yards. And I think somebody lined up in the neutral zone.
You know, one thing I do want to say, I don't know who the groundskeeper is out here, but this field is always one of the most beautiful fields in high school football in the OVAC. Whoever does the work here needs commended. And when these guys get out to midfield, we'll get a shot of the big Seminole head at midfield. Just a tremendous job by whoever takes care of this football field. It always looks perfect. No matter what game it is, 1, 8, or in the playoffs, it always looks perfect. Second down, 14. Joris trying to find somebody open. He has a man. That's a first down. Complete to Eric Brown. Forward progress will get him the first down. Joris looked very good on that. Rolled out, waited till his receiver got open, and he put it right on the money.
Well, Brown made the reception past the first down yardage, and then in his effort to gain some extra real estate, he almost went back too far, but he did go down at the 47-yard line. It'd be a gain of 15 yards on the play, and Monroe Central's second first down. And that's a big play just to get out to midfield.
There's that Seminole head I was talking about.
We'll get a good shot of that right now.
We're getting close to it. It's pretty. Offensive line stepping up. A lot of youngsters up there, too. First down, 10. Joris, handoff, Jones. He motors for a gain of 7.
One thing you see Monroe Central doing, and that's using a long count. And I think that's to try to counteract the aggressiveness of Magnolia. You can see their linebackers cheating up there 1 yard away from the ball. You know, they're either going to blitz or they're going to fake the blitz. So as long as you make them stay up there on their toes, you know, maybe then they kind of flatten out a little bit and you can run by them.
Seminoles coaching staff. Told you about that sun. It's brutal. It's starting to feel a little better now. It's going down a little bit, but it's a hot one out here in Woodsfield. Second down, 4. Fake the inside, and that's a loss of 2, maybe 3. A lot of penetration that time by the Magnolia defense, led by Joe Blatt, 175-pound junior.
He was in the backfield. That's a gain of nothing on the play, so you had the nice gain on first down. Monroe Central was sitting pretty nice shape, second and 4, and now it's third and 4.
First quarter winding down. Blue Eagles up 7-zip. Third down and 4 from the 47. Jones at tailback, Stevens at fullback. Joris going to put it up. A lot of pressure from the backside. Joris going to go down. Really didn't have a chance from the get-go. Magnolia all over him. Jordan Herrick was the first guy there, and he had a lot of help from Russell Shepard. That's a 10-yard loss for the Seminoles.
When that defense knows that you're in a situation where you need to throw the ball, then they just come even harder, and that's what happened there. There's about 3 Magnolia players right there, and Joris never had a chance.
We're at the end of 1 quarter of play here from Woodsfield. Your score, Magnolia on top, 7-zip, Monroe Central. Been a kind of a feeling out process here in the first quarter. We'll see if it opens up in the second. There's your Bill Ford Chevrolet field goal. We'll be right back right after this. Both offenses pretty much stacked.
And not doing a lot, about even, not really a lot of yards. Of course, the big play being the pressure on the quarterback, of course, the interception and the return for the touchdown. So offenses have not put anything on the board. And the defense of Magnolia is responsible for the 7 points.
Seminoles going to punt it away. Good kick. Magnolia trying to find some outside running room. They're not going to get it. Jason Baxter on the return. But that was a nice punt by Justin Copley, I believe it was, who punted it away. But my eyes elude me. 44, Gabe Gordon.
It was a nice punt, especially there's again as a freshman doing that job. Number 88, Baxter, the return man for Magnolia, who I believe that's the one that Coach Batten told us is one of his better athletes, tried to get outside, and he got about 5 yards on the return. So this is the first time Magnolia has put the ball in play from their own territory tonight.
Blue Eagles 1st and 10 from their own 30. Mason inside handoff. Monroe defense ready for that one. That didn't fool anybody. Big number 77 pulling himself up off the pile. Jeremy Kinney, 6'4", 244. I don't know if he's made one tackle, but I see his number everywhere, so we might as well mention him. He's a big one.
Well, the middle of the line doing a lot better job there, and the result was only about a 2-yard pickup.
Number 70 there, speaking of size, too, on the offensive line for Magnolia, Chris Horn, 6'3", 240. 2nd down 9. Mason hands it off inside. Cecil on the carry, and he's not going to get too much. Going to bring up a 3rd down and long.
We see Adam Jones getting in a lot of plays from his defensive end position as he really coming down inside hard. He being one of the 2 people Monroe Central has defensively that has any varsity experience.
3rd down and 6. Blue Eagles need to get to the 40 of Monroe Central for a first. Mason dropping back, looking down the field for Baxter. Has him open. Baxter at midfield. And Baxter has a first down all the way down to the Monroe Central 40. Nice play that time by Mason, who just took a 2-step drop and threw a bullet to Baxter, who ran a quick slant. You can just see it right on the money.
We had a lot of time to throw, and then the defensive back slipped down. Baxter had a lot of room to operate, and that's going to be about a 27-yard pickup. So Magnolia, now that's really their best offensive play so far.
I hate to keep harping on this, but that is some serious artwork right there.
It's not something that was done in a couple hours this afternoon.
Do they have it cut out on the field like an outline they just fill in with the paint,
they have an outline that they use and paint, but it's still quite an extensive job.
So you're telling me they're cheating, in other words. Another pass that time by the Blue Eagles, and Baxter should have caught that one. I think he'd want that one back because it was right on the money. It's funny talking to Coach Batten before the game. He said, me and Dave Caesar, the longtime coach of Magnolia, got in a lot of arguments. Caesar always said, I'd rather have it 2nd and 10 than 2nd and 5, meaning he'd rather throw on every down, whereas Batten would like to run the football more. He said, I like to throw, but you're going to see this team under me running the football more and more because I like 2nd and 5.
And that's an example right there. You complete a pass for a big gain and a first down, you come right back and try it again to the other side of the field.
I formation. Uh-oh, 3rd fumble of the game. It looks like Magnolia recovered. You could tell that, maybe some jitters, some youthfulness, and first game of the year. That's 3 fumbles so far in this football game, and there were 2 other times when we could have had fumbles, when the ball was bobbled.
Well, that's to be expected, I think, when you have new people in there. And I think you can see, it looks like Cecil, who was supposed to get the handoff, falling on the ball, and that just keeps possession for Magnolia. It's going to lose a couple of yards, but at least they do have the ball.
It almost looked like Mason was going to hand it off to the tailback, and the fullback caught him when he was going through the hole. Knocked the ball out. Mason from the shotgun. Look for Baxter. Mason rolling out. He's got some pressure, steps up, and he falls forward for a gain, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, they slid the fullback out on a little shuffle motion that time, which gave him 4 receivers to that side of the field. But, good pressure from the backside. Number 86, Kilburn, and Mason had to run the ball, and I really don't think he looks real comfortable as a runner.
Kilburn, one of the few returning lettermen for Jay Sarcosta. He's actually looking for his 3rd letter as a senior. 4th down and 8, and the Blue Eagles will punt it away.
It's going to be poor field position for Monroe Central.
Conrad and Brown back deep. Low snap. Good punt. by Baxter, who angles it, and it's fair caught at the, looks like the 9-yard line by Conrad. Maybe a little further in, maybe the 7.
That could have been disastrous for Magnolia because the snap was a little bit low, but Baxter doing a nice job of getting the kick away. Conrad fair catching the ball inside his own 10-yard line. A lot of times you try to teach your return men, if it's over your head, if you're staying at the 10, let it go, but you just never know where that football is going to bounce. So for the third time in 4 possessions, Monroe Central is back near their own goal line to start a possession.
8:24 to go, first half, 7-0 Magnolia. Joris under center. Jones the tailback. Jay goes to the fullback. There's your fumble. Magnolia looks like they have it. They do. Second fumble recovery for the Blue Eagles. They didn't do anything with the first one. We'll see what they can do with the second one.
Well, what was meant to be a simple handoff there to the fullback, and looked like somebody again reached in there and knocked it loose. You're going to see right here the fullback, and somebody reaches out and knocks it away.
DJ Stevens barely got the handle on it, and somebody on that Magnolia defensive line made a beautiful play.
Magnolia is going to spend a timeout because they would sure like to get another score on the board.
It's what you want out of your defenders. You want them to make the tackle first, but while you're making that tackle, try to strip that football.
You know, that being 3 turnovers for Monroe Central, and all of them have been in their own territory. And, you know, when the offense doesn't have to go far, and the other time the turnover, the defense took it right into the end zone. So here's a chance for the offense to convert one. And 2 touchdowns here before halftime could be really big.
Bill Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard, Magnolia 7, Monroe Central nothing. As I alluded to earlier, big crowd on hand here in Woodsfield. Home side stands are packed. The far end zone to our right is about, I would say, 2 people deep. Magnolia bleachers are packed, you can see.
But you know, you alluded to the fact that it's a nice night for football. Very comfortable for the people in the stands. You know, no sweatshirts, no jackets needed. But when you're comfortable in the stands, it is way too warm for those young men out on the field. And conditioning may become a factor during the second half.
Coaching staffs of both teams, Jay Sarcosta, the head coach of Monroe Central. Assistants, David Schurman, Greg Shoemaker, Chuck Briggs, Matt Singleton, Mark Withrow, and Bill Fox. For Magnolia, Mark Batten, his second year as head coach. Assistants Mike Eddy, Dave Grandstaff, Mike Pierce, Kent Pilant, and Bob Ripley. You can bet that most of those people got their seats early, too. These stands fill up quickly. I know we got here at about 6:30, and they already had a nice crowd on hand. First down and goal from the 9 for Magnolia. Mason hands it off to Cecil. Cecil running hard, runs over a couple defenders. He's inside the 5.
Well, nothing fancy for Magnolia here on this possession. You know, you definitely want to get some points out of this possession. And Cecil has run very hard, been very effective thus far. He's going to get about 4 or 5 yards there. And he's already going to be over 30 yards for the game.
Mason under center, high formation. They go to Cecil again. Cecil runs into a wall of Seminole defenders, falls forward for a gain of a couple. Brings up third down goal.
Well, he was hit near the line of scrimmage. It looked like he was going to get nothing, but he kept the feet going, kind of get a little spin move off there, and almost able to keep his balance to get to the end zone.
Aaron Cease checking in. He's 6 foot 175. He's a junior on the Monroe Central defense. You can see the sky. It is, I mean, it's a beautiful night. There's no other way to describe it. Taking a look at that front line of Monroe Central, lining up against the Blue Eagles offensive front. Here we go. Mason, quarterback keeper, trying to find the outside. He's not going to do it. No, he is. Touchdown, Magnolia. I didn't think he'd be able to find the corner. But a great job by Mason to get in and give his team a 13-0 lead.
And also a nice play call. You give the ball to the tailback a couple times, and then a nice fake to Cecil. And you're going to see here, just sprinting for that corner. And initially looked like he wasn't going to make it. I think Brown had him, but he fell on the goal line, and he's in the end zone. That's a 2-touchdown lead now for Magnolia.
Thought Brown might have the angle, but Mason made it work. Aaron Long now on to make it a 2-touchdown lead. Good snap, holds down. He puts a bullet right through the uprights. And with 6:55 to go, second quarter, the Blue Eagles of Mark Batten have a 14-0 lead over the Seminoles. Go Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard. Think Forbes will give me a free automobile if I keep mentioning that scoreboard?
Might ask. Can't hurt, can it? All I can do is say no.
That's true. Might have a couple used Gremlins down there that he wants to get rid of.
They give you a nice trade-in.
You never know. Well, the home side stands are silent right now. The cheerleaders are out there cheering, but obviously people here at Monroe Central are hoping to see something offensively. To be quite honest, in 3 possessions, they've seen nothing. 1 pass completion for a nice gain, but they've seen 3 fumbles, 2 of which recovered by Magnolia.
You mentioned earlier the fact that Jason Costa likes to run the football, and especially with young people at some key backfield positions, even more so now. But now when you're behind 14-0, he's probably going to have to start doing some things that he really is not comfortable with.
Still a lot of time to go. I mean, he can, gets a score here, go into halftime trailing by a touchdown or even 2. That's still not bad. But once you get going towards midway through the third quarter and you're down by 2 scores, then it's time to start airing it out. Cease, Brown, and Conrad back deep for the Seminoles. Long going to put the boot to it. They really need to get a good return because, Jeff, you've said it a couple times. They've basically been pinned deep in their own territory, and this is a beautiful kick by Long. Rolls into the end zone for a touchback. That's something you don't normally see in high school football. He definitely, I think he worked the kinks out on those first 2, on that first field goal attempt and that first extra point try, because on the 3 kicks after that, he's nailed them.
He's done a nice job. That's a kickoff there. And anytime you can sail that ball into the end zone and put the other team at the 20-yard line, you're really letting your defense do a lot of different things. So that's going to be a weapon that Magnolia will take advantage of during the year, and it'll be a key weapon.
Joris hands it off. Wow. That's what you call a linebacker filling the hole right there. John Smith came right up and just annihilated number 22 from Monroe Central, TJ Stevens.
Well, Smith was in on about 140 tackles last year.
So he knows what he's doing.
So it's not like he's stepping into an inside position this year that Josh King filled last year, and I believe King was all-state. So now Smith steps in there, and it doesn't look like they're going to miss a whole lot.
Second down 6, ball at the 24. Looked like a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield, and it's going to cost the Seminoles a couple of yards.
Slow developing play, and Russell Shepard was in the backfield and able to make the play on the ball carrier. And they're going to lose back most of what they gained on the previous play.
Brings up 3rd down and 9, approaching 5 minutes to go here first half. 14-0, Magnolia on top. Passing down for Joris, 2 men in the backfield. Tries to put it out, but he is sacked. That outside backer position, getting him again. It's Cecil coming in, and I believe it was Cecil who caused that fumble that Smith took in for the touchdown earlier. They've got to protect his blind side because Cecil's basically coming in untouched with a 10-yard head start.
He came in there full speed, and Joris really never had much of a chance to even try to find a receiver. And, as a sophomore, he's not used to taking those hits like that, and it's not been a good night for the young man so far.
Monroe Central forced to punt it away. Gabe Gordon on to do the kicking. Baxter back deep for Magnolia. Another good punt. Baxter taking it at the 49. To the 40. And he gets down to the 35. Good special teams coverage that time by Jeremy Kinney.
That's still going to be about a 14-yard return of the punt, and Magnolia is going to be in great shape at the Monroe Central 35-yard line.
Got a Monroe Central player down on the field. I think it's Sam Miller. Chaser Costa out looking over his player. Good time to maybe take a break. 4:40 left to go here in the second quarter. And we don't need to take a break. Let's talk. 14-0. You see the staff out there looking at Miller. Hopefully it's just a stinger. Take another look at the play defensively. The quarterback sack. Of course, we'll take a look at that sack in a little bit. They want us to say hi. Say hi, Jeff. Anybody out there, your mom, anybody, you want to say
anybody,
hi?
Everybody.
Everybody in Woodsfield, everywhere. This is actually, I'll tell you a funny story while we're waiting on this. You see us up here. This used to be like a hayloft. I mean, they've done a lot of fixing up to this press box, because I remember the first time I came here to do a game. It was like climbing up into a hayloft. You're out there on the roof. It was like a tin roof. The railing's about knee high. It was covered with snow. And I look around, and I think, okay, if I fall, it's all over. I'm dead.
I think we did a game together.
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable.
At the end of the year. And so we had to come up steps then that were definitely not real solid.
Yeah, the steps those were the scariest steps I've ever seen in my life. They were straight up. They're the kind of steps that when you're climbing up or you're coming down, you take one at a time because it's so steep. And they rocked from side to side. You're thinking, if one thing pops here, we're done. You can see, you're looking at the press box here. Off to the right side, there used to be a platform. And those steps came up, and it was absolutely scary. Underneath the steps, I looked, because as I was walking up the steps, I thought, if I fall, I want to see what I'm going to land on. You know what was down there? Cement blocks. So I'm thinking, okay, if I fall, I'm dead. Once I get up here and I fall, I'm dead. I don't think I moved for the whole broadcast. You're talking 2 hours. I didn't move 2 inches because I was scared to death.
But they've done a lot of work over the years
have.
here. The people, the community has always been great to the program here, and have put a lot of time in. There's a lot of things around the field that have helped with the fencing, the improvements to the press box, and it really has turned this into a real nice place to watch a football game.
I tell everybody when we talk about facilities, Jay Circasa's got one of the best. His field house, by far and away one of the best in the OVAC. The field, and now the press box, definitely top of the line. That was actually Preston Kilburn, who was injured on the play. He's a 6'1", 190-pound senior. He's coming off. Looks like he's stunned a little bit. Glad to see him walking off the field. Seminoles got to regroup defensively and offensively.
Well, it seems like the whole game has been played and the Monroe Central end of the field. They've not really had a chance to get out of the shadow of their own goal line, and Magnolia has taken advantage of it a couple of times, and they're in great field position right now.
Mason looking to put it up. Eludes the rush initially, tackled from the backside, gain of 4.
Well, we initially said that maybe Mason wasn't real comfortable running the ball, but that's a nice job then of stepping away from the pressure and getting some positive yards in what looked like was going to be a loss.
Aaron Cease, one of those guys in there on the tackle and the pressure of Craig Mason. You know, one thing I do want to point out that as far as kicking the football, Gabe Gordon's done a great job on a couple punts here for Monroe Central, because without a couple of his great punts, Magnolia would have even had better field position on a couple of occasions. I mean, he's let go of a couple boomers.
And Magnolia's only been forced to punt one time, and they've been able to take advantage of turnovers.
Mason rolling out, running the option, pitches it outside, and Adam Jones is out there to clean it up. John Smith received the toss from his quarterback, but Jones ran it down and made the play defensively. 3rd down and long.
And Mason did a nice job bringing the defense to him, optioning the man, and made the pitch at the last minute, and enabled them to get out and pick up 5 of the 6 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and a yard.
Ball is on the 26-yard line. Blue Eagles in the I formation. Mason just going to keep it himself and let the offensive line do their job, and they did that. 1st down, Magnolia.
A very safe call as the clock runs down, just a little over 3 minutes left in the first half. You know Magnolia would like to take a 21-0 lead in at halftime. And Mason, this is the first year he's been a quarterback, and now as the game goes, Coach Batten letting him do some other things. Has thrown the ball a couple times, also running an option and running a nice keeper for the touchdown. So again, as people get comfortable, the things are going to start happening, and they're going to let the kids do more and more things.
Batten said he likes Mason as his quarterback. He's very smart, makes good decisions. Oh, and there's no decision to be made that time. No decision whatsoever, because Aaron Cease just came in and said, "Who's your daddy?"
Well, there's
no
chance at all to make a decision there. I'd say Cease came down from the outside pretty much untouched, and that was pretty much untouched.
Yeah, that was. That's as untouched as you get.
But maybe that's
2 minutes to go.
Play that can kind of spark Monroe Central and help keep Magnolia off the board, because you know if they have to go in behind at halftime, I guess they'll take 14-0.
Yeah, 14-0 with a whole half to play is not a problem. 14-0 with 1 quarter to play is a problem. Shotgun, Mason. Got some rush. Mason going down, flips it out. That was a very dangerous play, but a very athletic one by Mason. Doesn't get much, but you can see he's just trying to improvise and make it work however he has to do it.
As you said, very dangerous play, because if that ball would have been traveling backwards and not been caught, that could have resulted in a turnover. But good pressure, and he flipped it, and it was backwards, so if it had not been caught, he would have been a fumble.
John Smith very alert over there. Good thing, or else that one would have hit him right in the kisser. 3rd down and 11. Both quarterbacks under a lot of pressure here tonight. Whenever they drop back, the defenses are right in their face. Mace, here he comes again, and this time it's a screen. A lot of blockers out ahead. And it's going to be close. That time, if you're the coach, as Coach Batten did, you're sitting there thinking, okay, as soon as my quarterback drops back there in his space, so what do you run? A screen. That's how you offset that rush. And I'm telling you, I couldn't see who was carrying the ball because I was watching a block by Chris Horn. He absolutely obliterated somebody on the Seminole defense. I don't know if you saw it, Jeff, but he pancaked.
Well, it was a nice job, too, because as I looked at you, the receiver was Thomas, and as he caught the ball out there, I saw 3 gold jerseys of Magnolia and not a single red jersey there.
Well, there was a red one.
There was one, and he disappeared in a hurry.
Yeah, he did, because he had 240 pounds of Horn laying the smack to him. Magnolia takes a timeout. That play was good for a 1st down. They will have 1st and 10 at the 14 with 1:06 to go in the first half, and Magnolia up 14-0. So now it changes a little bit because Monroe Central huddling, they're talking this one over. They go into halftime down 21-0. They're going to have to be some major league adjustments
as you
done offensively.
Yeah, that's a nice call because the pressure had been coming from the left offensive side, and that will counteract that. And a very nice job of faking, and Mason, who's just doing a better job with every snap, letting the pressure come to him, and say there was a lot more gold jerseys out there than there were red jerseys, and he has a 1st down, and now they can operate and try to get on the board, if nothing more than maybe another field goal attempt.
Right. Here we go, both teams coming back out on the field. Magnolia trying to come up with another touchdown and really, really take control of this football game at the half. Again, nice call by the Magnolia staff on that screen. It's about the only thing you can do to alleviate a rush like Monroe Central has been getting on their quarterback. You let them come in, you suck them in, then you dump it off.
With 1:06 left, Magnolia has just 1 timeout, so that may have a little bit to do with their play calling here.
Got some motion. Mason going to put it up. Looking deep. He has a receiver open. Touchdown, Magnolia. What a pass and a catch to Baxter. Coach Batten and his staff not going to wait. Who cares about the clock? We're going to get this thing while we can. And Jason Baxter makes his 2nd big catch of the night for the touchdown. 14-yard reception, but that ball traveled about 34 in the air because he had to throw that to the far corner.
Well, you just ran to the corner, and you'll see Baxter just cut to the corner, and he threw it up, And Baxter, an experienced receiver with some 15 catches, I believe, last year, and he just overtopped the defensive back, and really catching the ball was probably the easy part.
Wonderful throw by Craig Mason right on the money, and Baxter hauls it in. And the Seminoles are in deep, deep doo-doo heading into the halftime here.
And Magnolia had not enough players on the field. Somebody runs in there, so now they'll be able to get this off and beat the delay penalty. And maybe they didn't. And again, the kick was wide, I believe, but it's not going to count, so he's going to get a second chance because the whistle happened before the snap.
You are correct, my man.
Penalties have been few and far between here early.
So Aaron Long, a 5'10", 155-pound junior, will get another shot at this and try to make it a 21-0 lead.
And he definitely has shown that he has the leg.
Mason's done a good job of getting this ball down too. He's been handling these snaps well. Here we go again. Kicks it up and through. That one dead down the middle.
Maybe the secret is he needs a 5-yard penalty before he attempts it because his best kicks have come after the penalty.
You could be right. 21-0 here in Woodsfield. 1 minute to go in the first half.
I don't think Coach Batten would probably adhere to that philosophy of getting a penalty before you try your extra point, though.
Whatever works. You can't argue with the results, I guess. Magnolia got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. You know, they have new uniforms. Talked to Coach Batten beforehand. He's a Magnolia graduate. He likes the gold better. Used to be the blue pants and the white tops with the star on the helmets for Magnolia. Last year they went with the M on the helmet. And this year, I believe, is the first year for the gold tops. Taking a look at them right there. Used to be they just had a blue star on the helmet. You can see it's an M now. And before those jerseys used to be white with blue trim, and now they are gold.
And I believe he said that then at home they'll wear a blue jersey and with a gold pant.
Right.
So just be the opposite of what they're doing tonight.
When you're the head honcho, you can do that. When you're assistant, you know, you can put your 2 cents in, but if the head honcho doesn't like it, it doesn't go anywhere.
And when you're ahead 21-0 at halftime, you can do whatever you want also.
That is true, too. Now let's see what the Seminoles have. They've got a minute to work with. I believe they have all 3 of their timeouts left. They really need to get something, even if they don't score, just a drive going here in the last minute to give them some momentum, a little bit of confidence heading into that locker room. Long squib kicks it, taken at the 28. Seminoles will have decent field position to work with. They'll take over at their 37. On the return for the Seminoles, number 46, Christopher Wilson, just a sophomore.
But the squib kick eliminates the possibility of a long return here before halftime. Your defense has done a great job, has forced 3 turnovers, and now Coach Acosta probably has to think about just getting into halftime and trying to regroup.
And one of the things that I like about doing games out here is I can smell that pizza already for halftime. You smell that?
It smells good.
Yes, it does. Let's just hope we get down there before the crew from Channel 7 eats it all. Dave Gordon. First down and 10 from the 37. John Green gets into it. We're done, Jeff. There'll be morsels left.
Maybe there's an extra
Nothing
one
but
down there.
morsels. Dead ball foul encroachment against Magnolia, so Monroe Central getting a couple given to them.
And again, anxiousness up along that offensive line, thinking maybe Monroe Central was going to throw the ball.
Right.
And somebody wanting a piece of that because they put great pressure on. I think George has been sacked 4 times in the first half, and somebody'd like to make that 5.
Yeah, for a young quarterback to come out and face the kind of pressure he's faced, most of it from his backside, and it looks like it's coming again. And now his offensive lineman just jumped, Keith Kyer, another sophomore on that line. So they'll just give that 5 back that they just gained.
And the clock still hasn't moved, so that's giving those guys an extra chance to get down to that pizza.
Well, they can't go till we're done. We got a break for halftime before they go, although I did see JG come up here, so that means he's on the prowl somewhere. First down and 10 from the 37. Full house backfield. George's going to hand it off. Inside handoff to Aaron Cease, who gets a couple. Clock continuing to run. Jay Circosta on the field, not happy at all. Cease only a junior. I remember Jay talking about Cease last year and said he was just nuts on the football field, especially special teams. Says he runs down like he's shot out of a cannon and just obliterates people, and a lot of times obliterates himself by obliterating people. Just a maniac on
probably one of their faster kids.
And he meant that in a good sense. I mean, special team player, you want somebody who's going to go down there and bust people up. Another handoff, so it appears that Circosta and company are just going to go into halftime trailing by 3 touchdowns and just try to regroup. Not wanting any more damage done here in the first half. Cease looks like he's banged up a little bit. He'll have 15 minutes to nurse it because we're at the end of the first half of play. It's been all Mark Batten and the Magnolia Blue Eagles. As they run off the field, you can tell they definitely have the momentum. Your Bill Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard at halftime looks like this. Magnolia 21, Monroe Central 0. Welcome back to Woodsfield. We're getting ready for the second half kickoff. 21-0. Magnolia on top. We'll see if the Blue Eagles can sustain their offense in the second half or see if the Seminoles can ignite themselves and try to come back and win this thing. David Bloomquist along with Jeff Stevens. Seminoles will receive first. Nice kickoff once again by Aaron Long. Cease takes it deep, and the Seminoles will take over at about the 26-yard line. My eyes eluded me on that one. That was not Cease. It's actually number 21, Adam Conrad.
But once again, the weapon that we talked about in the first half, that kickoff going to the 5-yard line. And I think I know a few college teams that like to be able to consistently kick the ball to the 5-yard line.
He definitely has a leg, that's for sure. He's proven that here tonight. A couple shaky ones early, but he's recovered to definitely get some boomers off. Let's see if this Monroe Central offense can get untracked. Mike Joris at quarterback, hands it off. Jones on the carry, and the first carry is going to be good for 7 yards, maybe 8. You've got some stats you figured out for the first half, Jeff. What's it look like?
Well,
not real good for Monroe Central as far as an offense goes.
Yeah, roughly. Magnolia ran about 9 more plays offensively, and they're going to have 2 yards rushing, counting the quarterback sacks, 29 passing. So, an advantage, and a lot of that caused by the Magnolia defense.
Was a gain of 8 for Jones. Second down 2 from the 35. Full house backfield. Handoff, Jones again. He's got some room. 40, 45, and Jones tackled by Baxter in midfield. Monroe Central sidelines going nuts. They needed something, and Jones has provided it for them on 2 consecutive running plays.
Well, when you're in 21-0 at halftime, you know you have to make something happen real quick if you're going to make anything happen and get in the game. It's just a simple, handoff and a bounce outside for Jones and some good inside blocking. He sprints to the sideline and gains about 12 yards and a first down right to midfield.
Jones split out at midfield. Now he goes in motion. Handoff inside. Stevens still chugging along, running hard, and that's another first down. T.J. Stevens running like a locomotive through that line. He's 181 pounds, only a sophomore, running like a senior right there.
Well, not a lot to cheer about in the first half from Monroe Central. Now you come out, run 3 plays, 2 gains of more than 10 yards, and a couple of first downs. If they could get down and get a score on the board, get the crowd involved, there's still a lot of football left to be played. And Magnolia defensive coordinator Bob Ripley would like to get a shutout and close things off in a hurry.
Another handoff to Jones, and wow, that time the defense in a hurry. That's Smith, who so far definitely has my vote for defensive player of the game for the place, for the Blue Eagles.
But when you get a couple things done against you defensively and a couple big gains, then you look for your veterans. And somebody like Smith right there come through and make the play. And you can see here, he shoots through there pretty much untouched and hits the ball carrier in the backfield, loss of about 3 yards.
You okay?
Yeah, no problem here. Just got things flying around us.
In a small booth like this, you've got equipment all over the place, and I just moved a little bit, and I think I just snapped Jeff's neck. Complete pass that time, and Monroe Central is alive on offense. Adam Conrad on the reception. We got all the equipment set up on a little ledge here. Whenever it falls, it's like having a 80-pound dumbbell jerk your head down. My director said to wiggle the mic. I wiggled it. It worked.
It wiggled right to the
He
floor.
told me it worked, yeah. I was surprised anything worked after that. 3rd down and 5 from the 36. Joris from the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. Joris steps up, a lot of room. Joris has the first down and a lot more, but a penalty flag is down.
And that's going to be on the offense. Anytime the play is allowed to continue, the line judge making the call, and they'll keep the chains in one place. And that's a nice scramble by Joris. About 15 yards, but it's not going to count.
So some laundry on the field, and it's going to negate this one.
And that would have been a key first down down about the 20-yard line. But an illegal procedure call, as you can see, against Monroe Central, that's going to set them back. They're just out of the shotgun, couldn't find anybody, stepped up, had a whole lot of green out in front of him, did a nice job and got his first down, but will not count.
And you saw the flag come out early, so it was not a delayed call. I mean, right off the bat, the official saw what he was looking for, and he nailed the Seminoles. So a nice run by Joris is negated, and Seminoles going to take a timeout now, facing a 3rd down and 11 from the Magnolia 41. You might as well, you're down by 3 touchdowns. You might as well make sure everybody's on the same page before you go here, because this is a big opening drive for the Seminoles, and they need to get something out of this.
Well, from a coaching standpoint, too, I think, Jay Costa, he can live with getting out-executed on both sides of the ball if the team's just better. But when you get things going, you're starting to get a little confidence, and then you get a simple 5-yard penalty, and, now that just kills the whole drive. Now it's 3rd down and 11 or 12 yards to go, and you're going to have to do something that you really don't like to do. They've run the ball good a couple times, and now it's pay dirt. It's the first time tonight that Monroe Central's been able to put together a sequence of 2 or 3 good plays in a short period of time. They've moved the ball well, but again, one penalty really hurts you, and now you're going to have to come up with a big play, and down 21-0. This could be 4 down, and you may have 2 plays to get to 12 yards.
Here we go, 3rd down and 11, I formation, Jones at tailback, Stevens at fullback. Joris going to put it up, throws it out for Jones, and for Stevens, and he mistimed his jump. Possibilities were there, but they couldn't hook up, and it brings up 4th down.
Again, I'm sure knowing that defense was going to be coming hard right up the middle, trying to come with a little screen to the left side, the ball just a little high, and you'll be able to see it here, again, letting the pressure come, but just a little bit over the outstretched fingers of the receiver. And I think now the Seminoles will go into punt formation at the 42-yard line.
Looked like Stevens got his feet crossed up a little bit, wanting to maybe run upfield before he had the football. Time to punt. Gordon's on. Let's see if he can hit another one. He did for the most part. Blue Eagles let it bounce. It goes into the end zone. And that's one thing there is from a coaching standpoint, I guarantee you, those deep guys are going to get talked to from Magnolia. Coaches want you to field that football in that position. Because if that thing rolls dead inside the 5, your back's to the wall. And, they tell them, you either call a fair catch and field it or get away from it totally. But in that area there, it worked out. They're getting it at the 20. But if that rolls dead inside the 5, they're in a heap of trouble.
Well, it could as easily stopped in the high grass or bounced right or left. It took off on the hard ground. So they got a fortunate break there. But like you said, they could have put the ball in play at the 5-yard line, and now at least they have a little bit of room. This being their first possession of the second half, we'll see if they can build on some good offense late in the second quarter.
Yeah, the Seminoles had some fire coming out here. Let's see if they can retain it on defense. We've got some movement by the Blue Eagles. They're going to back up and face a 1st down and 15.
Well, it wasn't big movement, but you could see the tailback just flinched just before the ball was snapped. And that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. And we've not had any major penalties yet tonight, but the 5-yard type is starting to really add up here. And I think that's something you always worry about in the first game, that timing and the penalties. And now, young men starting to get a little tired too, and we may see a lot of that.
15 to go for Magnolia. Craig Mason, the quarterback, scanning the field. And we've got everybody on the wrong page on that Magnolia offense. And that's one thing that Coach Batten said before the game. He said, you know, your first game is a game where you really try to find a lot of things out. And that's as far as timing. You know, you're expecting a lot of offsides. You're expecting people to be jumpy because it's the first game of the season. And we've seen that tonight. We've had about 4 turnovers. We didn't have a lot of penalties early, but now it seems like they're coming at a more rapid pace.
And I was looking for a flag there because it looked like everybody moved in shifts about 3 different times, and it looked real ugly. And there was no flags, but the result's going to be a loss of a couple of yards. So Magnolia is going the wrong direction.
Blue Eagles keep it on the ground, go right up the middle. Gain of a couple. Going to bring up 3rd down and a ton.
That's the fullback, Smith, going there just trying to, that quick trap type thing there, because from this position on the field, you know they're not going to try to do too much and be very conservative. You try your fullback, get about 3 yards. Now on 3rd and long, and we'll see what happens.
3rd down, 13. Big play on both sides of the ball here, because if Monroe can hold them, they're going to get some good field position out of this. Blue Eagles going to put it up, looking for Baxter. Another big catch, and that's a 1st down. You know when Mason drops back and he needs a big play, he's going to go to number 88.
Well, that's the 3rd ball that Baxter has caught tonight. You know, this is nothing fancy. He's just going to break in front of the defensive back. But Mason drops back with a lot of confidence, lays that ball. That's a big target. And, you know, good play by the defensive back, and just too much cushion on 3rd down. You know, Baxter, you know, big target, 6'3", so he didn't have to be a great pass, but just good enough, and that ball was well thrown.
1st and 10 at the 33. Inside handoff, not too much. Host of defenders there. Jones for the Seminoles, in on the tackle, as is T.J. Stevens, and big number 77, Jeremy Kenny. Cecil on the carry for Magnolia.
We've got another flag on the play, and as you said, flags are starting to crop up. And that'll be our first big step off of the night on a holding call against Magnolia. A 10-yard step off from the point of the foul, and it occurred a couple yards in the backfield, so it'll be about a 12-yard loss on the penalty. This is 1st and about 22.
7:14 to go, 3rd quarter. 21-0, Magnolia on top of Monroe Central. Game number 1 of the high school football season. Of course, you'll see Monroe Central again at the end of the year, their big game against Bellsville. After tonight, Magnolia is at home against St. Mary's. Then they're home again for 3 consecutive weeks. St. Mary's, Williamstown, and John Marshall, before going on the road at River, and then at St. Clairsville, and at Polka. So 3 at home, 3 on the road, then 2 at home, Tyler Consolidated, and Liberty, and then they finish up at Oak Glen. Inside handoff, lot of room. Back to the original line of scrimmage, almost. Draw play right there by the Blue Eagles. A.J. Thomas on the carry, 5'9", 145-pound junior.
This is where your team depth can really be an advantage. You know, bring another tailback in who's not carried the ball yet tonight. He makes a nice gain, gets your penalty yardage back.
Got a Seminole injured on the field. Aaron Cease almost looks like he's cramped up. He tried to get up a couple times and run off, and he collapsed 3 times in a row. And it looks like he's trying to stretch something. Calling for water, of course, cramps, a direct result of dehydration. Try to get some liquid in him and get him back on the field.
On a warm night such as it is here this evening, that's where the officials then are going to take the break and take advantage of that time to let the managers go out and get water to everybody.
Take a look at the last play. That inside handoff. A lot of room to run.
And you can see
there's
Cease
Cease come up, and he jumps right up. You know, he may have actually taken a knee or a helmet in the thigh, and that may have given him a Charlie horse. Monroe Central, after tonight, will travel to Shadyside, who has a nice team, especially skill-wise, and we're looking for some offensive linemen. On the road at Fort Fry. Then Lindsley comes in here. They have a guy by the name of R.J. Zitzelberger, who should be one of the best backs in the Valley this year. Then they're at Shenandoah, who I heard is loaded. At Barnesville, who is loaded. At Frontier. And then they finish up on the road in Bellsville, which is another Big 7 game of the week. It's kind of funny, you know, you got two coaches here tonight. You know, when it used to be Caesar against Sir Costa, you had two of the most dominant coaches in the Valley with a lot of wins, and now you've got a coach in Sir Costa going for win number 211 tonight, and a coach in Baton going for win number 6. We're going to take a break. 6:24 to go, third quarter, 21-0. Magnolia on top.
Magnolia, you see a shot there. The Monroe Central band equipment van, a truck that they've acquired and put some time in, did a real nice job on the painting of that, and it makes it real nice to be able to haul the equipment to the competitions on the weekends.
Second down and 9. Mason going to the air. Another great grab by Baxter. Very nice throw, too. There was some really, really nice coverage by the Seminoles, but Baxter hauls it in, and that's a first down for Magnolia. I think he only has 4 receptions tonight, but each one of them has been huge, as in a first down each time.
And he's going to be the money receiver. I say he was the second leading receiver last year, had about 15 catches. You know, they had some nice receivers there last year. You know, a young man named Steve Imes had 29 catches, and he was the go-to guy then. But this year, I'd say it's going to be Baxter because, as you say, 4 catches, but they've all been big, either a first down or a touchdown there in the second quarter.
The ball is at the 45 of Magnolia. Approaching 5 minutes to go, third quarter. Magnolia up by 3 touchdowns. Hard count that time by Mason. We're going to have some encroachment on the Seminoles.
Not a lot going on offensively here so far in the third quarter, but you know, the penalty flag is kind of taken over as we've had several 5-yard step-offs, and that's going to be against Magnolia.
First down and 15. Right up the middle. That was Smith on the carry for the Blue Eagles. He came right up the middle, number 41. Playing a whale of a game on defense. Doesn't get too much there because he was stopped by the heart of that Monroe Central offense, or defense, excuse me.
But for Magnolia, they're just concerned right now with taking care of the football, not turning it over. They're going to try to keep the ball on the ground quite a bit and run that clock. When you've got a 3-touchdown lead, you know, they're really not concerned about running it down the field as fast as they can and putting it in the end zone. Sure, it'd be nice to increase that lead, but
right.
You know, right now, take care of the ball, let the clock run, you know, force Monroe Central to try to catch up, and if you keep the ball, then your chances of giving up points are much less when you have the ball than when the other guy does.
Second down and 12 now for the Blue Eagles. 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Mason going to put it up. Looking for Baxter again. Throws high, and it goes through the hands. That would have been enough for a first down on the far sideline. Instead, it brings up third down and long.
Well, that cancels out just about everything I just said before that play. But, you know, again, you need to get the first down. You can't keep the ball without first down. And, again, on a passing play, who's Magnolia look to? You know, Baxter, he's been the man thus far. That was just a little bit high, and he couldn't make the play.
Well, there's no reason not to. I mean, he's 6'3", 175. He has the physical presence to get the job done. He has the hands to get the job done. I don't know if I'd look at anybody else, to tell you the truth.
And
until they double team him, and even with a double team,
during the course of the year, he's going to pull that ball down a lot of times.
Right. Mason from the shotgun. They need 12. Rolling out far side. Mason throwing it up down the field. Incomplete. That time, nice defense. Nice coverage by the Seminoles. Gabe Gordon making the play. Could have been a big one.
Thomas, I believe, was the intended receiver, and he was behind a little bit. That ball just kind of hung in the air. You see him sprinting out to the left, away from traffic, throwing it on the run, which is a tough throw, and just knocked away by Gordon. It was Thomas, the intended receiver.
So 4th down and 12, and Magnolia will punt. Jay Acosta cheering on his team. Got to get something going. Third quarter is about done. And you know Magnolia, when they get the football back, they're going to run. That one punted almost straight up in the air. Fair catch, and that's going to be interference on the defense. Flags are down. You've got to give him a 3-foot zone to catch that football, and Magnolia didn't do that. They ran into the fair catch.
Was a rather short kick.
Player, and it's going to be a penalty.
Conrad came up and tried to make the play. A nice coverage play and just ran into it. And you'll be able to see it here on the replay. It's about 30 yards downfield on the punt. Baxter does a nice job hanging it high. And the coverage down the middle. Conrad comes up and he just gets run over right there. And that's going to be a penalty as the officials continue to discuss it. And we'll see how that's worked out. I think the options here would be you back and mark it off from the line of scrimmage. So we're going to have a re-kick. Magnolia will be forced to kick the ball again. So they'll come back from the line of scrimmage, which was the 44-yard line. And fair catch interference will
So we still have a 4th down and 12, 4:42 to go third quarter, and Magnolia's still up by those 3 touchdowns. We're getting down to the point, Jeff, where we're really going to see what that passing game of Jay Acosta can do, because now it's getting to the point where they got to start moving that football. They haven't done it running, although that first drive of the second half they did, but it faltered. We're going to see real quick how well they can throw the football.
Well, they're going to try to establish some things here because this game may be pretty well over as far as the result, but this is where you work on some things with young kids, try to establish some things, and between now and the end of the game will make you better weeks 2 through 10.
So here we go. Baxter on to kick it away again. And that snap is over his head, and Baxter is in deep trouble. Still gets off the kick. And Baxter just did an incredible job to save Magnolia. On the run, he picks it up and kicks it. I didn't think he had a chance to get that thing off, but it shows you, Coach Batten said, by far and away the most athletic kid we have, and he just showed it right there.
Well, he kicks that ball on the run and ends up being about 13 yards from the line of scrimmage. Well, it's going to kill his average, but now Monroe Central has the ball at the 42-yard line. Otherwise, they could have had the ball on about the 2.
That's almost a 36-yard punt on the run, scrambling for your life. You can see it. Watch this.
He's back at the 2-yard line.
He's at the 2, and it comes all the way out to almost the 40, so almost a 38-yard punt. Seminoles hand it off up the middle, churning out some yardage. Number 46, Christopher Wilson. We got another player on the field cramping up.
This early in the year with this heat, you can have some long second halves, and I think we're about to be in for one.
Yeah, I was going to say the beginning of this game was going by at a pretty rapid pace, and it slowed down considerably here in the third quarter. Phil Forbes, Chevrolet scoreboard, Magnolia 21, Monroe Central 0. Forbes told me before the game, if you go down and mention that I told you to go down there, he'll give you half off on any automobile you want. That's a joke. In today's day and age, somebody could probably go down there and demand a car at half off and sue me for saying that, couldn't they?
This day and age, you can sue anybody for about anything.
I'm kidding. Don't hold me to that. Second down 5 from the 37. Sophomore quarterback Michael Joris under center. Hands it off. Big hit defensively. Aaron Cease doesn't get much, and it's nice to see him back in the game because he was over nursing something on the sidelines. We think it was a cramp or a hamstring. Tackle that time provided by number 41, John Smith. Defensively, Smith by far and away my defensive MVP. Offensively, Baxter, without a doubt.
Well, if nothing more, I know Baxter has 4 catches. He has a touchdown, but that punt, has to give him several things.
Yeah, it could have been changed the outlook of this game big time. I mean,
if it's a 7-0 game,
right? Third down 5. Oh boy, Magnolia all over the Seminoles.
Well, I initially didn't see who the tackler was, but as he gets up, it's pretty plain. That's number 41 again, Smith.
Yep.
And he's probably been in on 10 to 15 tackles thus far.
We have another injured player on the field. You can see as soon as the handoff is made.
Smith is cheating up toward the line of scrimmage. He just runs in there and nobody touches him. He has no contact with anybody till he hits the ball carrier.
DJ Stevens on the carry. Just shooting gaps. That's what it is. Taking an angle and shooting a gap.
And this is an example of a veteran defense, using what they do best, using your veteran guys to dominate the line of scrimmage. There's a linebacker. He's almost like a down lineman.
Batten said before the game, our defense is the strong point of our game. Fake punt. Jones takes the snap directly. He's got to get out there, and he does. So Jay Circosta pulling out the stops. They fake the punt to Gabe Gordon. The snap goes directly to Jones, who takes it and picks up the first down. They needed a shot in the arm. They just got it.
And defensively, your defense has to think that's going to be the case. You can see the snap to the up back Jones. The punter did a nice job.
Smith almost made the tackle.
It was a bad snap, and Jones working the sideline over, and somebody got hit over on the sideline.
That was Coach Batten.
And I don't think he really was wanting to get into the action that badly.
And I used to be on the sidelines, and I've been wiped out a couple times too, and that's not fun. He'll be feeling that one tomorrow.
We also had a penalty on the play.
And that's going against Magnolia too, so Monroe Central, their first real chance to get on the scoreboard here tonight with 2:29 to go, third quarter, and trailing by 3 touchdowns.
I have Magnolia for 8 penalties thus far tonight. Regardless of the outcome of the game, the score, Coach Batten will not be happy with that.
Full house backfield. Joris under center. Hands it off, not too much doing. Big number 66 for Magnolia was in there immediately to put an end to that. Joe Weaver, returning letterman, a junior, 220 pounds. And really from the outset, Christopher Wilson didn't have a chance. Magnolia's defense is great at penetrating. That's the one thing. Every play is disrupted by somebody in the backfield. These plays need at least a second to materialize, and Magnolia's not giving it. They've got a guy in there almost on every play. Second down 11 from the 15. Quick pitch, far side. And Eric Brown got a couple.
But definitely 4-down territory. As I mentioned earlier, you work on some things. This is the best opportunity Monroe Central has had to get on the scoreboard tonight. They're going to make every effort here. If they don't get the first down, this third down play, they're going to run another play on fourth down. No field goal when you're down 21-0 and that. But just from a confidence standpoint, you'd like to get in the end zone a couple times and at least make this thing interesting.
Saw a little while ago, Seminole fans still very much in this game, hoping their Seminoles can get on the scoreboard right now, facing a 3rd down and 5 from the 9. From the shotgun. Joris better get loose. A lot of pressure going end zone. Is it picked off? We're waiting on a signal.
I believe it's picked off in the end zone. The Magnolia fans along that fence over there are cheering wildly.
Nothing yet.
Don't see a signal. And I still don't see a signal.
I think they ruled it incomplete.
No, it was an interception.
No, it was. Third turnover of the game for the Seminoles with 1:36 to go third quarter. And Jason Costa not happy one bit.
Maybe the replay will help us out a little bit. In that far corner, George steps away for some pressure here, throws it on the run, and it's going to be real difficult to see. It's a low pass, and it's picked off right about the goal line.
Did not see who it was. Whoever it was made a tremendous play.
And Baxter kind of wrapped him up there and was very happy about it. So that ends the Monroe Central threat. Now as we're near the end of the quarter, Magnolia has that shutout intact.
And you can bet Coach Batten's going to run, because that clock's just going to start ticking away. Monroe Central only has 2 timeouts. And you know, for a sideline that's winning, there sure isn't a lot of commotion over there for Magnolia.
Well, it's almost like this was expected, and just another day at the park for them. It's been a long third quarter. We still have another long quarter to go, but they have to like what they've seen.
Second down 9. He just proved me wrong, didn't he? Far sideline, incomplete.
Well, there's something you're going to see very much.
Brings up third down.
And that looked like Baxter, and looked like the ball hit him right in the hands, and he didn't make the catch. Maybe as many plays as he's been involved in, he's just a little bit tired. Couldn't get the hands up.
Well, it's a good call there. I mean, you're expecting a run, thinking that they're just going to wind this clock down up by 3 touchdowns, and of course, Monroe Central
it was a pretty
coming
safe
up on the line. Yeah, safe play.
It was either going to be caught or it was going to be incomplete. Unless it was just terribly thrown, there's not much chance of an interception there. So, there wasn't much damage in it. A chance to get the first down, but it just didn't work. Inside handoff,
nothing doing. Nice defensive play that time by number 22, T.J. Stevens. Brings up 4th down and 9, and Magnolia's going to have to punt it away. You take away that defensive touchdown, this is a 14-0 game, and the Seminole defense has actually played very well.
Well, and again, every case where Magnolia has scored, they have received excellent field position because of a Monroe Central turnover. The offense has been a little bit erratic tonight for Magnolia in an area that I know they're going to want to improve, because as long as you shut people out and they don't score, you're not going to lose.
Yeah, Magnolia's defense has definitely been impressive. I mean, without a doubt. The whole defensive unit. And they're not going to get off another play here, and they're just going to go into this 4th quarter up 3 touchdowns. They'll punt it away then. We are done with 3 here in Woodsfield. Magnolia on top, 21-0. Compliments of the Bill Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard. We're going to take a break. Jeff and I will be right back. Now in the evening, it's not real sticky, not too cold. Couldn't ask for anything better. All the fans still on hand here. Matter of fact, it doesn't look like one person has left, and it's really been a one-sided ball game.
Baxter to punt. Last time the snap was high. This time much better. And a nice kick.
Gets off a good kick. It was almost blocked. Taking it to 45. Seminoles 40. 30. Nice return by Adam Conrad. Monroe Central in business at the Magnolia 31.
He came up and caught the ball on the fly, and you talked earlier about how important it is to catch that punt on the fly and not let it hit the ground. And he's going to catch it and run right by a Magnolia defender and then use some speed and turn that into a real nice return. It's a nice punt by Baxter. But he receives a block there and just runs up the sideline and runs by a couple people. And Monroe Central's had a few things to cheer about. Now all they need is to get the ball in the end zone. And we're going to have a stoppage of play. It looks like one of the Magnolia players shaking up a little bit there, and they're going to force him out. That's number 66, Joe Weaver. The officials are going to send him to the sideline, and he's saying, I don't know why. So they'll get a sub in, and we'll play on.
Joris under center, full house backfield. First and 10 from the 32. Pretty good gainer on first down to the 25-yard line of Magnolia. Christopher Wilson seeing a lot of action here in the second half.
And we're going to get another penalty on top of this play. And it looks like a Magnolia penalty. I always
what is that, 9 now?
Always hesitate early in the season to make penalty calls before I see the officials make the signal, but it's a late hit for a personal foul. And yeah, I believe that's 9 penalties, and the last 4 have been major step-offs. And as I mentioned earlier, Magnolia's coaching staff cannot be happy with this many penalties here in the second half, as they're giving Monroe Central many opportunities to get on the board.
First down and 10 from the 13. Same play, same result. Wilson on the carry again. He's inside the 10-yard line. Wilson doing a good job running off that right side and the right side of that line. Doing a real good job of getting some push.
Well, he had no carries in the first half, but has now been involved in quite a bit offensively as he's replaced Adam Jones at the tailback position. And this is another good opportunity of turnover in the end zone. Stop the last Monroe Central drive.
Second down 5. Wilson on the carry again. Nothing doing this time. Smith in there on the tackle, along with big number 66, Joe Weaver. They said, you know what, 1 time, 2 times maybe. Ain't happening 3 in a row.
Well, they made Weaver leave the field. Must have thought he was hurt on the play. A couple plays previously. He was out one play, comes back in. He wants to prove to everybody he's all right. And Weaver and Smith have both been involved in a tremendous amount of tackles in the middle of the field.
Third down, 6. Trying to throw the football, and the Blue Eagle defense comes up with another huge play defensively with the sack. Can't see who made it in there initially. Trying to look, but I did see, again, Joe Weaver in on the tackle.
Well, something didn't look right off the get-go from that one, so maybe the replay can help us out here. But, a couple fakes, and I'm not sure if it was just a missed handoff or just not enough time to set up and throw the ball.
That's that outside blitz again. I think it may have been number 81, Warren Grace, or Russell Shepard, number 51. I'm not quite sure.
When you also have the quarterback, Mason, playing the defensive end on that side also. It's not a combination you see a lot of quarterback defensive end, and he may also have been down on that. But there's been a lot of people put a lot of good pressure on the quarterback, and George has been sacked about 5 times, and he's going to be, about negative 25 yards because of the sacks, and he just hasn't had time to throw the ball.
We're under 10 minutes to play in this one. Seminoles down by 3 touchdowns. Obviously, 4th down and 17. They have to go for it here. No turning back now. Field goal is not going to do you a whole lot of good. Plus, this would be a nice field goal for a high school kicker. Be about 37-yard attempt. TP made by Dave Gordon. That's what he does in his spare time, Jeff. Makes TPs. Guy's got peculiar talents. He's so weird that he has the 3rd pick in the fantasy draft. He said he's going to take Dante Culpepper. Can you believe that? You play fantasy football?
No, not
swing pass
smart enough.
Outside, and it's not going to go anywhere, and Magnolia's going to take over on downs. So in this whole game, Monroe Central has had 3 scoring opportunities. They've all come in the second half, and they've just not been able to walk through that door. They've been knocking, but they haven't been able to get in, as you can see there.
Well, every time they get a couple nice plays together, get yourself in a good situation. We had one play with a penalty, then an interception in the end zone, and then a sack there. So every time they get something going, something bad happens. You have to give credit to the Magnolia defense. We've said this time after time, but now they're in the fourth quarter. There's a shutout, and they're going to go hard because they want a shutout.
And it's not like their offense has sustained a lot of drives. So these kids have been out there for a long time on defense for the Blue Eagles, and they still have the same tenacity, quickness, and toughness that they've showed in the first quarter. Blue Eagles take over. Now you're going to see that ground game. Cecil on the carry, and the Seminoles gang tackle him. But the clock ticking away. And Monroe Central only has one timeout left. After tonight, I said it earlier, Magnolia travels to Shadyside. Then they're at home for 2 against River and Caldwell, at Fort Fry, at home against Lindsley, then at Shenandoah, then home for Barnesville, at Frontier, at Bellsville. That schedule does not get any easier. Neither does Magnolia. At home against St. Mary's next week, then at home against Williamstown and John Marshall. Then they're at River, at St. C, at Polka. Return home for 2 against Tyler and Liberty. And then they are at Oak Glen. Another carry. Another dismal gain for the Blue Eagles.
John Marshall used to be a traditional opener for Magnolia until they started playing Monroe Central about 5 years ago. So it's the first time John Marshall's been back on the schedule, and it sounds like John Marshall is going to be very good this year.
Well, they got a whole new offense. Mike Linsky went in. He spread everybody out, basically running a run and shoot. Going to throw the ball a lot, one back in the backfield, and he said, hey, you don't try to mold players to your program. You go with what your players do best. He said, I've got a lot of guys who can catch the football. I got a good quarterback. I'm going to throw. And you can't really argue with that. When you coach to a player's weakness, the odds are you're not going to be very good. You got to go with your strengths. And his strength, he realizes, is throwing and catching the football.
Playing high school football, if you can throw it and catch it, you have a chance to be successful.
Yeah, because very few teams can defend the pass. And you look at programs like Bel Air, who those kids from 6th, 7th grade, they know that they're going to throw the football, and that's all they do. You look at a Martin Sperry, who has a good program. You look at some of these other teams that pass, they're very successful. Bill Forbes Chevrolet scoreboard, 21-0. Magnolia on top. Baxter going to punt it away. Skies this one. Taken at the 50. No fair catch there. Adam Conrad says, you know what? I'm not going to give him anything easy. I'm going to make him earn it. 7:14 to go. Monroe Central takes over.
Again, that snap just a little bit low. So 2 or 3 times tonight, the timing has been a little bit off on the punting game. Only about a 26, 27-yard punt, but no return. And as you said, no fair catch by Conrad. And that might be something in the future he'll want to think about that. But he remembers the nice return he had a few moments ago, so he was going to try for a big play again.
Joris under center. I formation. Needs to score, and they need to score quick. Quick hitter to the outside. Conrad trying to get some yardage. Fumbles the football. Magnolia recovers. 4th turnover for the Seminoles, and that pretty much is going to seal their fate here tonight.
He stumbled as he started to run upfield. I'm not sure if the ball got stripped or if the stumble caused the ball to come out. But, nobody over there except Magnolia people. And another turnover.
You see it, Conrad just trying to get some extra yardage.
Number 2,
loose.
Derek Kerr on the strip that caused the fumble.
There's going to be 2 very different approaches to the post-game team conferences after this is over. Jay and his staff are going to have to go in and console a young team and say, hey, look, we made some mistakes. We're young. It's going to happen. It's all about how you rebound. It's all about how you come back next week, build on this, learn from this. And Coach Batten's going to bring his troops in and say, hey, we went into a place where it's very hard to win. Very few teams come in here and win. And we went in and played great defensively, did some things well on offense. There's some things we need to work on, like you alluded to, the penalties. But, hey, great first win. Both coaches worried, especially Batten, about this game setting the tone for the season. If it's any indication, Magnolia's in for a good one.
Well, he's going to be real pleased with the result, but he's going to also know that his kids are capable of playing better. as we see a problem on the exchange right there. And it's just those little things that will have to be cleaned up, as they go down the road.
Well, again, we talked about Jason Costa having a young team, and to go back to it, Magnolia also has a very young team. They bring back 8 veterans, but only 6 seniors. So those veterans who played were very young, sophomores and freshmen who got some action last year. So they returned some guys, but not necessarily starters. So this is still a young team, too. His quarterback, first year starting, Craig Mason, done a very good job tonight, throwing some big passes to Jason Baxter. Cecil's played a good game in his defense.
Well, last year the main ball carrier was Jamie Long in the backfield. So this is the first year that Cecil and Smith have been able to get a lot of touches.
Second down 12 from the 47. Inside handoff, gain of 5. And this is a game you watch and you start thinking, next year and 2 years down the road, these two teams here should be juggernauts, especially Magnolia. Only 6 seniors. They're going to be good this year, bringing everybody back next year. And then, of course, all these sophomores and even some freshmen getting some playing time for Jay. It's only going to pay dividends. Everything is cyclical. Everything goes in cycles. You cannot be on top of the world every year in high school football. In college, it's easy. You pick your talent. You can take the best of the best. In high school, you have to deal with the hand that's dealt you. And that talent, that well runs dry every now and then, and it's just you just got to survive those years and wait. Take some lumps and build off it. Speaking of lumps, the Seminoles with the interception, and they're not dead yet. 5:08 to go. Even if they can't win this thing, they want to spoil that shutout.
Well, that's maybe a little surprising on the play call there, but yet, again, a chance to work on things. The quarterback drops back and, does a nice job, delivers it in there, but stepping right in front is number 20, Eric Brown, and up the sideline, so he's going to give his teammates one more opportunity to get to the end zone. So Magnolia, their first line people is going to stay in there. They want to shut out real bad. Central's going to put the ball in play at their own, at the Magnolia 33, about 5 minutes remaining.
Brown did a good job of reading that, stepping in front of the receiver and picking it. Oh, big backside hit that time on Michael Joris. Is that our man Smith?
Well, if you don't know for sure, that'd be a safe guess.
Just go with, when in doubt, go with 41.
Maybe the replay will bail us out here and see for sure. But Joris, again, just coming hard, some good pressure from the outside.
Yeah, I think it was Smith.
Was one of them, and
he comes in like he shot out of a cannon.
Pressure from the outside also was a very key part of that play.
Over pursues and flushes the quarterback and still makes a tackle. Here it comes again. Screen set up, but it's not there. And Joris just got obliterated. That outside pressure by Magnolia has been there all night long. It looks like these guys are shot out of cannons when they come in. And Joris has absolutely no chance.
And now knowing that Monroe Central is going to throw the ball, those guys are going to come even harder.
That was Joe Blatt that time. Blatt's a 5'11", 175-pound junior. Just don't forget the tapes on your way to the vehicle, Gordy. Shotgun formation for Joris. 3rd down and 12 from the 35. Wow. Wow. There was no chance right there. 3 Blue Eagle linemen come blowing through. Joe Weaver made the sack. Was there any blocking that time? It almost looked like a middle screen was called, but everybody knew that except for Joris.
And Weaver just coming hard, and I'm not sure that he's been touched very many times, and he just in there, and you can see very happy.
Take a look at this again. I mean, nobody blocked. They had a blitz. The linebackers came, but somebody's got to pick that up. Michael Joris in his debut, only a sophomore. You got to come out against a defense like Magnolia, but when you have no blocking up front, it gets ugly. I don't know how many times he's been sacked, but I would venture to say probably 6. Gordon with the punt. It's a good one. Going to roll down and die at the goal line. But guess what? Not a smart play by number 70 from Monroe Central, Randall Seifert. He jumps on the ball and slides into the end zone, which is a no-no.
But
The ball had died.
Looked like the ball was about to go dead if it had not. It was very close to the goal line, but if you carry the ball into the end zone, that's going to be a touchback. And a nice punt by Gordon. You can see on the replay, there's a line drive, and Magnolia's going to let it roll, and it's going to hit in there and roll dead.
Just let it go right here. Look, it's dead.
That ball stopped. You don't even have to touch it.
And Jay Sircosta talking to number 70 right now, telling him, you got to think, son. You've got to think.
When he give you,
even if that ball had stopped and he went in there and stopped and bent over and touched it and had his foot on the goal line, it still comes out to the 20. You cannot be touching that goal line or go into the end zone at all. It doesn't matter where the ball's at.
But again, a new kid on punt coverage, and we saw Jay talk to him on the sideline there. They'll get better. He'll learn.
But I'm sure that's talked about, but you got to realize, too, you're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-old kids also. One thing I could say about both fans is nobody's left. I mean, everybody is still here. It's 21-0, under 3 minutes to go in this football game, and nobody's leaving.
Well, that's good. You ought to be able to get out of here without any problem and get home in time for the newscast.
Yeah. Strap on the seat belts and pray you don't pass the stadium. Got some movement up front. That's got to be 12 penalties on Magnolia. I guarantee you there's going to be some laps run come Monday and Tuesday. That's just a lack of concentration. That's all that boils down to. In the huddle, they tell you, we're going on 1, we're going on 2. No reason that should happen except you're just not out there thinking. And when it's 21-0, it's hard enough to swallow if you're the winning coach. But what if this game was 7-7? That's the kind of stuff that'll drive you absolutely insane.
Well, if we would talk to Coach Batten after the game, he's going to look at that as the one negative stat right there, and he's going to remember that at practice on Monday more than he's going to remember what looks like is going to be a shutout by his defense and everything else that's good that's happened. He's going to talk about the penalties.
2nd down, 15. Mason, handoff inside. Gain of a couple. Clock is not moving for some reason. Still not moving for some reason.
Number 34, Joe Blatt, gets his first carry of the night. And I think we had another penalty.
Well, it appears Magnolia will go to 1-0 on the season. Once again, they were 5-5 last year. As you see the hold on the Blue Eagles decline. Monroe Central falls to 0-1 after a 9-2 season last year. 3rd down, 10. It almost looked like somebody jumped again for the Blue Eagles. It looked like their right guard or left guard jumped too early, but I think at this point the officials are kind of like, you know what, if it's not real blatant, we're just not going to call it.
Number 11 is now at quarterback, Josh Natale, just a sophomore, 6'1", 180 pounds. So a chance to get some other kids some experience, get them on the field.
We're approaching 1.5 minutes to go in this football game from Woodsfield. We've seen some hard hitting. I mean, this was definitely a defensive battle. Both offenses have some work to do. It is the first game of the season. Young quarterbacks at the helm. Somebody's going to suffer a rotator cuff injury out there pretty soon. I've never seen so much laundry thrown on a field. Combined, I bet you we're approaching probably 15 to 20 penalties. You have them all marked down?
We're up over 100 yards combined, so it's going to be in that neighborhood. That's about 12.
That's got to be at least 12 alone.
12 on Magnolia and about 4 or 5 penalties on Monroe Central. And that one's going to be a step off against the Seminoles.
So it brings up 4th down and 1, and Baxter is going to punt this one away. Back deep for the Seminoles, Eric Brown and Adam Conrad. Just letting that clock tick. Conrad takes it at his own 36, cutting it up the field. He's past midfield. Conrad's down to the 39-yard line. Conrad's done a good job tonight of returning punts.
Well, I think
shows no fear. I mean, he wants to return it.
He's given opponents of Monroe Central something to think about as far as punting to him. He's done a real nice job on a couple returns. That's about 20, 25 yards on that. And he runs very hard, just a sophomore, and kind of a line drive kick. But he takes it and picks up a block from his co-return man Brown, and then just outruns some people. Shows real good speed. And what you know, there's Smith on another tackle.
Shows you some coaching there too. You saw him switch hands with the football, put it in that outside hand, which is what you're supposed to do. George's going to put it up now. He's going to tuck it and run, and he better tuck it because he almost fumbled it, and he's going to go down. Another sack for the Blue Eagle defense. And I don't think we're going to get another playoff. This is going to be the end of this one from Woodsfield. Down under 30 seconds. They may get one more off.
And Magnolia came in here with a real good team 2 years ago and were winners by this same 21-0 score.
Magnolia's going to have the edge, 3-2 over the last 5 years in this rivalry. Joris going to the end zone, picked off. And Magnolia takes over, and that's going to stop the clock with 1.8 seconds left to go.
And it looked like number 5, which would be Robert LeMasters, on the interception. And since the clock won't start till it's snapped one time, and somebody take a knee, and that'll end it.
96, Monroe Central won. 97, Magnolia. 98, Magnolia. 99, Monroe Central. And in 2000, it's going to be the Magnolia Blue Eagles as soon as they snap it right here.
And that's going to be, by my count, 6 turnovers for Monroe Central. And go back through the list of games. When's the last time Jay Circosta team probably turned it over 6 times in a game?
Youthfulness. I want you to think here, because when this last second goes off, we're going to have a quick post-game wrap-up, and I want you to pick your offensive and defensive players of the game. I think it'd be pretty easy, but we'll see how smart you are. You teach math, don't you?
Every once in a while. My math tells me it's taken a long time to get this last 1.8 seconds off the clock.
Put things in perspective, Coach Mark Batten in his second year is going to get his 6th win, while Jay Circosta is going to lose his 82nd game. Sounds like a lot till you factor in 210 wins and 14 OVAC championships. This one is history. Your Bill Forbes scoreboard, 21-0, Magnolia winner. So they improved to 1-0 on this young season. And next week they are at home against St. Mary's, while Monroe Central will travel to Shadyside. Jeff, final thoughts here real quick?
Well, we knew coming in that Magnolia was really going to be good defensively, as they didn't show anything for us to think otherwise. You know, a lot of different people with all the returnees, and as I said earlier, if you don't give up points, you're not going to lose. But then the offense was not spectacular, but it was good enough, and they were definitely opportunistic as far as taking advantage of turnovers. And, 21-0 at halftime, and it stayed there, but, Magnolia's, they look solid.
I think Craig Mason had a great game at quarterback for Magnolia. He made the plays when he had to. So did Jason Baxter with that punt and a couple receptions. Player of the game, John Smith, defensively. He was all over the field. He did a great job. Both teams out there shaking hands. Looks like it may have gotten a little, maybe something was going on there. Who knows? But anyway, this one is history. 21-0. Magnolia winner.